Your life can change when your mind stops working against you and starts working with you. Most people never realize how much their subconscious mind controls their daily choices. It shapes how they react to pressure, how they handle failure, how they speak to themselves, and how far they go in life. But the good news is this: your mind can be trained. Your thoughts can be directed. Your habits can be changed. And when that happens, your results begin to change too. In this audiobook, you will learn how to take back control with simple daily actions that build real mental strength. You will see how awareness, discipline, focus, repetition, and clear thinking can reshape the way your mind responds to life. No confusion, no complicated language, just practical steps you can use right away. If you have ever felt stuck in the same patterns or tired of fighting your own mind, this message is for you. Stay with this journey, because what follows can help you think more clearly, act with more purpose, and build a stronger life from the inside out. Chapter 1. Take control of your subconscious mind through daily awareness. Most people live with a mind they do not understand. They wake up, check their phone, react to messages, carry old worries into the day, and move from one task to another without noticing the thoughts shaping their decisions. They believe they are choosing freely, but much of what they do is driven by habit, emotion, and repeated inner language. That is why two people can face the same challenge and respond in completely different ways. One person falls apart. The other stays steady. The difference is not luck. The difference is the level of awareness each person has built. The subconscious mind is always working. It does not sleep when you sleep. It does not pause when you are busy. It records what you repeat. It accepts what you allow. It strengthens what you practice. That means every thought you keep returning to is shaping your inner life. Every reaction you repeat becomes easier to repeat again. Every belief you feed with attention becomes stronger. This is why daily awareness matters so much. Without awareness, you live on autopilot. With awareness, you begin to lead your own mind. Commanding the subconscious mind does not begin with force. It begins with observation. You cannot guide what you refuse to notice. You cannot correct what you will not admit. The first act of control is the simple decision to pay attention. Notice what you think when you wake up. Notice the first sentence you say to yourself when something goes wrong. Notice how quickly your mind runs toward fear or frustration. Notice the stories you tell yourself about your abilities, your future, your past, and other people. These stories are not harmless. They become the inner rules by which your life is organized. Awareness is powerful because it slows the speed of automatic thought. It gives you a moment between what happens and how you respond. That moment is where freedom begins. A person without awareness is pulled by every mood and impulse. A person with awareness can pause, and in that pause there is room to choose a better response. That is where discipline starts. That is where wisdom starts. That is where self-respect starts. The human mind often resists honesty. It prefers comfort. It prefers familiar patterns even when those patterns are painful. A person may know that they are thinking too much, yet still return to the same worries every night. They may know that they are doubting themselves, yet still speak as if failure is already certain. They may know that they waste time, yet still avoid the work that matters. Awareness does not flatter you, it reveals you. But that honesty is a gift, because real change cannot grow from denial. Begin with the morning. The first minutes after waking matter more than most people realize. Your mind is open and impressionable. The day has not yet filled it with noise. This is the best time to observe it. Before reaching for your phone, take a few quiet breaths. Notice what is already present in your mind. Is there tension? Is there gratitude? Is there fear? Is there restlessness? Do not judge the answer, just observe it. The purpose is not to create a perfect feeling. The purpose is to become familiar with your inner state. A person who can name what is happening inside is already more powerful than a person who is controlled by what they refuse to see. A practical habit is to ask yourself a few simple questions every morning. What am I feeling right now? What am I thinking right now? What kind of day am I preparing to create? These questions are not complicated, but they are effective, because they interrupt passive living. They force your mind to become present. They remind you that the day does not happen to you by accident. Your choices shape it. Your attention shapes it. Your thoughts shape it. There is also great value in learning the difference between a thought and a fact. A thought is something the mind produces. A fact is something that can be verified. Many people suffer because they treat every thought as truth. They think I am not good enough and assume it must be real. They think this will go wrong and start living as if failure is guaranteed. But thoughts are often old recordings. They are often leftovers from fear, from criticism, from disappointment, from comparison. Awareness teaches you to separate the thought from the truth. You can say to yourself, "This is a thought, not a fact." That one sentence can reduce the power of many anxious moments. When you start observing your mind more closely, you will notice patterns. Certain thoughts appear after certain triggers. Maybe criticism makes you shut down. Maybe uncertainty makes you overthink. Maybe seeing another person succeed makes you feel behind. Maybe being tired makes you more negative. These patterns are important because they show you where your subconscious is active. Once you notice a pattern, you can begin to work with it instead of living under it. This is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming clear. A clear mind handles emotion better than a confused one. One of the most useful practices is to keep a simple daily reflection habit. At the end of the day, sit quietly for a few minutes and review the day honestly. What thoughts repeated most often? What emotions showed up repeatedly? What situations pulled you away from your best self? What moments helped you stay steady? This kind of reflection is not meant to produce guilt. It is meant to produce knowledge. A person who reviews their mind every day learns faster than a person who only reacts. Over time, you begin to see yourself more accurately. And the better you see yourself, the easier it becomes to lead yourself. Daily awareness also requires careful attention to your inner language. The words you say in your mind shape your emotional life. If you constantly say, "I cannot handle this," your mind will begin to protect you by shrinking your effort. If you often say, "People always let me down," your mind will search for proof until it finds it. If you keep telling yourself, "I always fail," your subconscious will begin to treat failure as your identity. This is why self-talk matters. You are always speaking to the deepest parts of your mind, even when nobody else hears you. The answer is not false praise. The answer is truthful strength. Do not tell yourself lies. Do not repeat empty slogans that your mind does not believe. Instead, speak in a way that is both honest and disciplined. Say, "I am learning to respond better." Say, "I can face this one step at a time." Say, "I do not need to believe every fear I think." Say, "I will do what is in front of me today." These statements are grounded. They do not deny difficulty. They prepare you to meet it with courage. Awareness also grows when you reduce mental noise. Many minds are crowded because they are never quiet. They move from entertainment to worry, to comparison to distraction, without rest. In that state, it becomes difficult to hear your own thoughts clearly. You need moments of silence, not for escape, for clarity. Silence exposes what noise hides. It shows you what you have been avoiding. It gives your nervous system room to settle. It helps you notice which thoughts are truly yours and which have been borrowed from the world around you. A few minutes of silence each day can change your relationship with your mind. Sit still, breathe slowly. Notice the thoughts that arrive. Do not chase them. Do not fight them. Do not build a story around them. Just observe them rise and pass. At first, this may feel uncomfortable because many people are used to constant stimulation. But discomfort is not always danger. Sometimes it is simply the feeling of meeting yourself honestly. The more you practice quiet observation, the less power random thoughts will have over you. There is a strong connection between awareness and discipline. People often think discipline means forcing yourself to do hard things. That is partly true. But discipline also means noticing your impulses early enough to respond wisely. It means seeing the urge to procrastinate before it controls your afternoon. It means noticing the excuse before you speak it. It means recognizing the emotional spiral before it grows. Awareness gives discipline a chance to work. Without awareness, discipline arrives too late. You have already drifted. With awareness, you can correct course before much damage is done. That is why small daily check-ins are so effective. Several times a day, pause for a moment and ask yourself what is happening in your mind. Are you focused or scattered? Are you calm or tense? Are you acting from purpose or from impulse? These questions can be answered in seconds, but they keep your attention sharp. They train you to lead your own state instead of being dragged by it. Over time, this becomes a way of life. You must also become aware of what weakens your mind. Some people call this bad habits, some call it bad influences, some call it poor choices. Whatever the label, the effect is the same. Repeated exposure to things that lower your standards will eventually affect the way your subconscious thinks. This includes constant complaining. It includes careless entertainment. It includes people who normalize weakness. It includes environments that reward laziness and excuse avoidance. Daily awareness means noticing when something is shaping you in the wrong direction and deciding to step away from it. A strong mind is not created by accident. It is built by protection. Protect your attention. Protect your values. Protect your energy. Protect your mornings. Protect the first words you hear and the first words you say. These small protections matter because the subconscious learns from repeated exposure. What you keep around you becomes part of you. You do not need to fear the world. You need to choose your inputs wisely. Another practical step is to replace passive consumption with deliberate input. Read words that strengthen your mind. Listen to ideas that encourage responsibility. Spend time with people who think clearly and act with integrity. Feed your mind with material that supports the life you want to build. Awareness is not only about watching your thoughts, it is also about choosing what enters your mind in the first place. Many people try to change their inner life while continuing to feed it with confusion. That approach rarely works. You will notice that some thoughts return again and again because they are attached to pain. Maybe a memory from the past still appears. Maybe a regret keeps coming back. Maybe a fear about the future keeps pressing on you. Awareness helps you see these thoughts without becoming trapped by them. You do not need to obey every mental replay. You can acknowledge it and then return to what matters. This is a form of inner strength. It is not coldness, it is steadiness. Stoic wisdom teaches that we should focus on what is within our control. Your subconscious mind often pulls you toward what is outside your control. It wants certainty, it wants approval, it wants guarantees, but life rarely gives these things. What you can control is your attention, your choices, your effort, and your response. When you become aware of this truth, you stop wasting energy on what cannot be changed. You become more effective. You become calmer. You begin to live from principle instead of mood. A daily awareness practice can also include honest questions at night. Did I spend today reacting or choosing? Did I speak to myself with strength or weakness? Did I feed my mind with clarity or confusion? Did my actions reflect the person I want to become? These questions are not there to shame you. They are there to refine you. Every honest review strengthens your ability to lead tomorrow better than today. Growth becomes more likely when reflection becomes a habit. There will be days when your mind feels heavy. There will be days when old habits feel stronger than your intention. On those days, do not assume failure. Do not announce that you are weak. Do not turn one bad day into an identity. Awareness means seeing the struggle without exaggerating it. It means saying, this is a difficult moment, not a permanent condition. That kind of thinking keeps you steady. It keeps you from surrendering to temporary pressure. You do not command the subconscious by yelling at yourself. You command it by becoming the kind of person who notices. Notice the moment before the excuse. Notice the feeling before the reaction. Notice the thought before it becomes a belief. Notice the pattern before it becomes a lifestyle. This is how control grows. Not through drama, through attention. If you stay consistent with daily awareness, your inner world begins to change in quiet but powerful ways. You react less, you recover faster, you choose better, you trust yourself more. You stop being surprised by your own habits because you have begun to understand them. That understanding brings freedom, and freedom is the beginning of real power. Think of the mind like a garden in the sense that it responds to what is tended and what is ignored. Thoughts that are repeatedly watered will grow stronger. Thoughts that are left alone will fade. If you keep feeding fear, it will grow. If you keep feeding discipline, it will grow. If you keep feeding doubt, it will grow. If you keep feeding honesty and calm and responsibility, they will grow too. Daily awareness helps you see what you are watering. Once you see it clearly, you can choose better. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming present. You will still have weak moments. You will still have confused moments. You will still have times when your mind drifts. That is normal. The goal is not to never struggle. The goal is to notice sooner and return faster. Every return strengthens you. Every moment of awareness builds the muscle of self-command. That muscle becomes stronger each day you use it. When you begin to live this way, your life starts to feel different. Conversations become clearer because you are less reactive. Decisions become wiser because you are less scattered. Work becomes more focused because you are less ruled by impulse. Relationships improve because you are more aware of your tone, your patience, and your motives. This is the quiet reward of inner discipline. It touches every area of life without needing to announce itself. Hold this truth close. You do not need to wait for a new personality. You do not need to wait for a dramatic change in circumstances. You do not need to wait for perfect confidence. Begin with awareness today. Notice your thoughts. Notice your patterns. Notice your language. Notice your reactions. Notice your choices. From that place of clear seeing, you can begin to lead your mind instead of being led by it. The subconscious obeys what is repeated and believed. Daily awareness helps you choose the right things to repeat and believe. That is where the real work begins. Not in wishing, not in pretending, not in waiting for life to become easier, in paying attention, in facing your inner life honestly, in choosing discipline over drift, in choosing clarity over confusion, in choosing responsibility over excuse. A person who becomes aware of their mind becomes harder to defeat. They are less likely to be controlled by fear because they see fear coming. They are less likely to be trapped by old habits because they catch them early. They are less likely to waste their life on automatic living because they know how much is at stake. This is the beginning of command. This is the beginning of inner authority. This is the beginning of a life guided by purpose instead of impulse. Stand watch over your mind every day, not with tension, with calm attention, not with self-hatred, with self-respect, not with desperation, with discipline. The more clearly you see your thoughts, Hans, the more power you have to shape them. And the more power you have to shape them, the more your subconscious will begin to support the life you are building. Start today by observing one thought more carefully than you normally would. Then another, then another. That small act is not small at all. It is the first step toward mastery. Chapter 2. Train your thoughts to follow clear, intentional direction daily. Your life begins to change the moment you decide that your thoughts will no longer wander without direction, but will instead follow a clear path that you choose every single day. Most people do not guide their thinking. They react. They wake up and immediately allow outside noise to shape their mental state. A message changes their mood. A memory changes their focus. A small problem takes over their attention for hours. By the end of the day, they feel drained, not because life was too hard, but because their mind had no direction. A mind without direction becomes a tool for distraction. A mind with direction becomes a tool for progress. Training your thoughts is not about forcing positivity or ignoring reality. It is about choosing what deserves your attention and what does not. It is about deciding what kind of thinking supports your growth and what kind of thinking weakens your effort. This is a daily responsibility. It cannot be done once and forgotten. It must be practiced again and again until it becomes natural. Start by understanding one simple truth. Your thoughts follow patterns. If you do not give them a direction, they will return to what is familiar. For many people, what is familiar includes doubt, worry, hesitation, and distraction. These patterns feel normal because they have been repeated for years. That is why change requires intention. You must actively guide your thinking in a new direction until it becomes your new normal. Each morning gives you a fresh opportunity to set that direction. Before the day begins, take a moment to decide how you want to think. Not in vague terms, but in clear and direct statements. Decide what deserves your focus. Decide what kind of attitude you will carry. Decide how you will respond when things do not go your way. This is not about controlling every detail of the day. It is about preparing your mind to respond with strength and clarity. A simple method is to create a daily mental command. This is a short sentence that defines your direction for the day. It could be something like, I will stay focused on what matters, or I will respond calmly to challenges, or I will finish what I start today. This sentence becomes your anchor. When your mind begins to drift, you return to it. When distractions appear, you repeat it. Over time, this consistent reminder trains your subconscious to follow your lead. You must also learn to interrupt thoughts that do not serve you. Many people allow negative thinking to continue without resistance. A single doubt turns into a long chain of worry. A small mistake becomes a story about failure. This happens because there is no interruption. Training your thoughts means stepping in early. The moment you notice a thought pulling you away from your goal, stop it. Do not argue with it for too long. Do not analyze it endlessly. Replace it with a stronger direction. For example, if your mind says this is too difficult, you respond with I will handle this step by step. If your mind says I am not ready, you respond with I will prepare and take action anyway. This is not denial. This is leadership. You are choosing a response that keeps you moving forward instead of holding you back. Clarity plays a major role in this process. A confused mind cannot follow direction. If you do not know what you want, your thoughts will scatter. That is why you must define your priorities. What are you working toward right now? What matters most today? What task deserves your full attention? When your goals are clear, your thoughts have something to organize around. Without that clarity, your mind will continue to jump from one idea to another without progress. Another powerful practice is to reduce unnecessary thinking. Not every thought deserves your time. Some thoughts are simply noise. They do not lead to action. They do not solve problems. They only drain energy. Training your mind includes learning when to let go. If a thought does not help you act, learn, or improve, release it. This requires discipline, but it becomes easier with practice. Your environment also influences the direction of your thoughts. If you surround yourself with constant distraction, your mind will struggle to stay focused. If you consume content that encourages fear or comparison, your thinking will reflect that. You must take responsibility for what you allow into your mind. Choose inputs that support your goals. Limit what pulls you away from them. This is not about isolation. It is about intention. There will be moments when your mind resists direction. It will try to return to comfort. It will suggest delaying your effort. It will offer excuses that sound reasonable. This is normal. The subconscious prefers what is familiar, even if it is not helpful. Your role is to stay firm. Do not argue with every excuse. Simply return to your chosen direction. Action weakens resistance. The more you act on your intentions, the less power hesitation will have. Consistency matters more than intensity. You do not need to control every thought perfectly. You need to guide your thinking regularly. Small corrections made throughout the day are more effective than one strong effort followed by long periods of distraction. Each time you bring your mind back to your goal, you strengthen your ability to focus. Each time you choose a better thought, you build a stronger pattern. It is also important to connect your thoughts with action. Thinking alone does not create change. Direction must lead to movement. If you decide to stay focused, then prove it by working on what matters. If you decide to stay calm, then show it in your responses. If you decide to improve, then take steps that reflect that decision. This connection between thought and action trains your subconscious more effectively than words alone. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself during challenges. This is where direction is tested. It is easy to stay focused when everything is going well. It is harder when things become uncertain. In those moments, your inner voice must remain steady. Speak in a way that supports effort. Remind yourself of what you can control. Bring your attention back to the next step instead of the entire problem. This keeps your mind from becoming overwhelmed. Another useful approach is to set clear limits for your attention. Decide how much time you will give to certain activities. Decide when you will focus and when you will rest. A mind with no boundaries becomes scattered. A mind with structure becomes more disciplined. This does not mean removing flexibility. It means creating a framework that supports consistent thinking. You should also take time to reflect on your progress. At the end of the day, review how well you directed your thoughts. Did you stay focused on your priorities? Did you interrupt distractions early? Did you follow through on your intentions? This reflection is not about judging yourself harshly. It is about learning. Each day gives you information. Use that information to improve your approach. There is strength in patience. Training your thoughts is not an instant process. It requires repetition. It requires effort. There will be days when your focus feels strong and days when it feels weak. What matters is that you continue. Progress is built through steady practice. Over time, your mind will begin to follow your direction more easily. What once required effort will start to feel natural. Your thoughts influence your actions, and your actions shape your results. When your thinking becomes more intentional, your behavior becomes more consistent. You waste less time. You make clearer decisions. You move with purpose instead of hesitation. This creates momentum, and momentum makes growth easier to sustain. Take responsibility for your mental direction. Do not wait for motivation to guide you. Motivation can come and go. Direction must remain steady. Even on days when you do not feel strong, you can still choose where your attention goes. That choice is always available. There is a quiet confidence that develops when you learn to guide your thoughts. You trust yourself more. You rely less on external approval. You become less affected by temporary emotions. This does not mean you stop feeling. It means you stop being controlled by every feeling. You begin to lead your inner world with clarity and discipline. Your mind is a powerful tool, but only when it is guided. Without direction, it becomes scattered. With direction, it becomes focused. This focus allows you to build, improve, and grow with intention. It allows you to stay on track even when distractions appear. It allows you to move forward even when progress feels slow. Make the decision to guide your thoughts every day, not just when it is easy, but especially when it is difficult. Stay consistent with your direction. Return to it whenever your mind drifts. Strengthen it through action. Protect it from unnecessary influence. Over time, this practice will reshape the way you think, the way you act, and the way you live. A directed mind creates a directed life. And a directed life leads to meaningful results built on discipline, clarity, and consistent effort. Chapter 3. Replace negative patterns with strong, empowering beliefs consistently. Change begins the moment you refuse to let old patterns decide who you become, and choose instead to build beliefs that move your life forward with strength and purpose. Every person carries patterns that were formed over time. Some were shaped by past experiences, some by repeated thoughts, and some by the influence of other people. These patterns do not always serve you. Many of them limit your growth without you even noticing. They show up as hesitation, self-doubt, fear of failure, or the quiet belief that you are not capable of more. If you do not confront them, they continue to guide your actions in ways that keep you stuck. The truth is simple. Your mind accepts what you repeat often enough. It does not question whether the message is helpful or harmful. It only recognizes familiarity. If you have spent years thinking in a certain way, that thinking becomes automatic. It feels natural even when it holds you back. This is why replacing negative patterns requires consistent effort. You are not just changing a thought, you are reshaping a habit that has been reinforced many times. The first step is to clearly identify the patterns that weaken you. You cannot replace what you refuse to see. Pay attention to your reactions in everyday situations. Notice how you respond when something goes wrong. Notice the words you use when you speak to yourself. Notice what you assume about your abilities before you even try. These moments reveal the patterns that are operating beneath the surface. A common pattern is the habit of expecting failure. A person may approach a task already convinced that it will not work. This belief affects effort, it reduces focus, it creates tension. Even if the task is possible, the mind is not supporting the action. Another pattern is the habit of comparing yourself to others in a way that lowers your confidence. Instead of learning from others, the mind uses comparison as proof that you are behind. These patterns do not improve your situation, they only weaken your ability to act. Once you identify a negative pattern, you must challenge it with intention. This does not mean arguing with yourself endlessly. It means replacing the pattern with a belief that is both strong and realistic. The new belief must support action. It must encourage effort. It must be something you can stand behind even when progress is slow. For example, if your pattern is to think I always fail, you replace it with I can improve through consistent effort. If your pattern is to think I am not capable, you replace it with I am building the skills I need step by step. These beliefs are not based on fantasy. They are based on growth. They give your mind a direction that supports progress instead of blocking it. Consistency is what makes this process work. A single positive thought will not erase years of repetition. You must return to your new belief again and again. Each time the old pattern appears, you respond with the new one. This repetition is not wasted effort. It is the method by which the subconscious learns. Over time, the new belief becomes more familiar. It begins to feel natural. The old pattern loses its strength because it is no longer being reinforced. It is important to understand that this process requires patience. You may not feel a change immediately. The mind often resists new beliefs at first because they are unfamiliar. You might notice doubt. You might feel resistance. This is not a sign that the process is failing. It is a sign that you are stepping outside your old patterns. Stay consistent. Continue reinforcing the belief that supports your growth. Your actions must align with your new beliefs. If you tell yourself that you are becoming more disciplined, your behavior must reflect that. If you say that you are capable of improvement, you must take steps that prove it. Action strengthens belief. When your behavior matches your intention, your mind begins to accept the new pattern more quickly. Without action, beliefs remain weak and unconvincing. Another key part of this process is removing reinforcement for negative patterns. This means paying attention to what you expose your mind to. If you constantly engage with content or conversations that encourage doubt or negativity, your progress will slow down. Your environment plays a role in shaping your thinking. Choose influences that support your goals. Spend time with ideas that encourage responsibility and growth. Your inner voice also needs to change. The way you speak to yourself matters more than most people realize. Harsh self-criticism does not create strength. It creates resistance. It makes the mind defensive. Instead of pushing yourself forward, it keeps you stuck in a cycle of frustration. Replace criticism with constructive direction. When you make a mistake, focus on what you can learn. When you fall short, focus on what you can improve. This approach keeps your mind engaged in progress. There will be moments when old patterns return with intensity. This often happens during stress or uncertainty. In these moments, your awareness becomes important. Recognize what is happening without panic. Remind yourself that this is a pattern you are working to replace. Do not give it full control. Return to your chosen belief and act from that place. Each time you do this, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new one. Discipline plays a major role in this transformation. You will not always feel motivated to challenge your thinking. There will be days when it feels easier to fall back into familiar habits. On those days, rely on discipline. Follow your process even when your emotions are not fully aligned. This is how real change is built. Not through occasional effort, but through steady commitment. You must also accept responsibility for your mental state. Blaming circumstances or other people will not help you replace negative patterns. Your thoughts are your responsibility. Your beliefs are your responsibility. This may feel difficult at first, but it is also empowering. It means you have the ability to change. It means you are not stuck with the patterns you have now. You can build something stronger through consistent effort. As you continue this work, you will notice shifts in your behavior. You will approach challenges with more confidence. You will recover from setbacks more quickly. You will take action more often instead of hesitating. These changes are the result of your new beliefs taking hold. They are not accidents. They are the outcome of deliberate effort. You should also take time to acknowledge your progress. Not in a way that leads to complacency, but in a way that reinforces your growth. Recognize when you respond differently than before. Notice when you choose a stronger belief instead of an old pattern. These moments matter. They show that your effort is working. They give you proof that change is possible. It is important to stay grounded during this process. Building empowering beliefs does not mean ignoring reality. It means facing reality with a mindset that supports improvement. If something needs to change, address it. If a skill needs to be developed, work on it. Your beliefs should guide you toward action, not away from responsibility. Over time, your mind will begin to operate differently. The beliefs you repeat consistently will become your default way of thinking. You will no longer need to force them as much. They will guide your decisions naturally. This is when your subconscious begins to align with your intentions. It starts to support your goals instead of resisting them. You are not trying to become a different person overnight. You are building a stronger version of yourself through daily choices. Each belief you reinforce shapes the direction of your life. Each action you take strengthens that direction. This process requires effort, but it also brings clarity. You begin to understand yourself better. You begin to trust your ability to grow. Commit to replacing patterns that hold you back. Do not wait for the right moment. Start with what you notice today. Choose one belief that needs to change and begin working on it. Stay consistent. Support it with action. Protect it from negative influence. Over time, it will become part of who you are. A strong life is built on strong beliefs. When your mind supports your growth, your actions become more effective. Your progress becomes more consistent. You stop working against yourself and start working with yourself. This is the shift that creates lasting change. Stand firm in your decision to improve. Continue reinforcing beliefs that move you forward. Let go of patterns that no longer serve you. Build your thinking with discipline and clarity. In doing so, you train your subconscious to follow your lead and support the life you are working to create. Chapter 4. Build disciplined habits that reprogram your subconscious for success. Your future is shaped by what you repeat every day, and the moment you build disciplined habits, you begin to rewrite the way your mind works. And the results you produce. Success is not built on rare moments of effort. It is built on consistent actions that are repeated until they become automatic. Many people wait for motivation to take action, but motivation is unreliable. It rises and falls based on mood, energy, and circumstance. Discipline does not depend on mood. It depends on decision. When you act based on discipline, you remove the need to feel ready. You simply do what needs to be done. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition. It does not analyze whether a habit is useful or harmful. It only recognizes what is done often. If you repeat delay, your mind becomes comfortable with delay. If you repeat focus, your mind becomes comfortable with focus. This is why habits are powerful. They teach your subconscious what to expect and how to respond without requiring constant effort. The first step in building disciplined habits is to choose a small number of actions that truly matter. Many people try to change everything at once. They set too many goals and create too many rules. This leads to overwhelm. When the process feels heavy, it becomes difficult to stay consistent. Instead, focus on a few key habits that directly support your growth. These should be simple, clear, and realistic. For example, you might decide to start your day without distractions, complete one important task before anything else, or spend time improving a specific skill. The exact habit is less important than your ability to follow through consistently. A habit only becomes powerful when it is repeated enough times to become automatic. Clarity makes discipline easier. You must know exactly what you are going to do and when you are going to do it. Vague plans lead to weak execution. If you say you will work later, your mind will find reasons to delay. If you say you will begin at a specific time and focus on a specific task, your direction becomes stronger. This reduces hesitation and increases follow-through. Another important factor is removing unnecessary decisions. Every decision requires mental energy. When you have to decide repeatedly whether to act, your discipline weakens over time. Create a structure that reduces decision-making. Set fixed times for your habits. Prepare your environment in advance. Make it easy to start. When the path is clear, resistance has less power. Your environment should support your habits, not fight against them. If you want to stay focused, remove distractions from your workspace. If you want to build a reading habit, keep a book within reach. If you want to exercise regularly, prepare what you need ahead of time. Small adjustments in your environment can make a large difference in your consistency. You must also accept that discipline requires effort, especially in the beginning. Your mind will resist change because it prefers what is familiar. It will offer excuses. It will suggest delay. It will remind you of discomfort. This is normal. Do not treat resistance as a signal to stop. Treat it as part of the process. Each time you act despite resistance, you strengthen your control. Consistency matters more than intensity. You do not need to push yourself to extremes. You need to show up regularly. A small action done every day is more effective than a large action done occasionally. This is how habits become stable. This is how your subconscious begins to accept a new pattern as normal. It is also important to track your habits in a simple way. This does not require complex systems. A basic record of whether you completed your habit each day is enough. This creates awareness. It shows you where you are consistent and where you are not. It also builds a sense of responsibility. When you see your progress, you are more likely to continue. There will be days when you miss a habit. Do not turn one mistake into a pattern. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency over time. If you miss a day, return to your habit the next day without hesitation. Do not spend time criticizing yourself. Use that energy to take action again. Recovery is part of discipline. Another key point is to connect your habits with your long-term direction. When you understand why a habit matters, it becomes easier to stay committed. You are not just completing a task. You are building a version of yourself that is more capable and reliable. This connection gives meaning to your effort. It keeps you focused when the process feels slow. Your identity also plays a role in this process. The habits you practice shape how you see yourself. If you act with discipline, you begin to view yourself as a disciplined person. This belief supports further action. It creates a cycle where behavior and identity strengthen each other. Over time, discipline becomes part of who you are, not just something you try to do. You should also pay attention to how you start your habits. The beginning is often the hardest part. Once you start, it becomes easier to continue. Reduce the barrier to starting. Break your habit into a simple first step. If you plan to work for an hour, focus on starting for a few minutes. If you plan to exercise, begin with a short session. Starting builds momentum. Momentum makes continuation easier. Your mindset during the habit also matters. Do not rush through your actions without awareness. Stay present. Focus on the task. Give it your attention. This improves the quality of your effort and strengthens the habit more effectively. When your mind is engaged, your subconscious learns more clearly. Discipline is also about saying no to what does not serve your goals. Every habit requires time and energy. If you fill your day with distractions, there will be little space left for meaningful action. Be selective with how you spend your time. Choose activities that support your growth. Limit what pulls you away from it. Rest and recovery are part of disciplined living. A tired mind struggles to stay consistent. Take care of your energy, get enough rest, allow time for recovery. This is not weakness, it is preparation. A well-rested mind performs better and maintains discipline more effectively. You must remain patient with your progress. Habits take time to become automatic. In the early stages, you may need to remind yourself often. You may need to push through resistance. Over time, the effort decreases. What once required focus begins to feel natural. This is the result of repetition. It is also helpful to reflect on your habits regularly. Ask yourself if they are still aligned with your goals. Adjust when necessary. Growth requires flexibility. What works at one stage may need to change at another. Stay aware of your direction and update your habits to match it. Your habits influence every part of your life. They affect your productivity, your health, your mindset, and your relationships. When you build strong habits, you create a stable foundation. This foundation supports long-term success. It reduces the need for constant decision-making. It allows you to focus on higher-level goals. Take responsibility for your daily actions. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Start with what you can do now. Choose one habit and commit to it. Show up consistently. Protect your time. Remove distractions. Stay focused on your process. A disciplined life is not built in a single day. It is built through repeated effort over time. Each action you take sends a signal to your subconscious. It tells your mind what to expect. It shapes your behavior. It defines your results. Stay committed to your habits even when progress feels slow. Trust the process. Continue showing up. Your consistency will reprogram your mind. Your discipline will shape your future. And over time, the actions that once required effort will become part of your natural way of living. Chapter 5. Strengthen focus to guide your mind toward purposeful actions daily. A focused mind can turn ordinary effort into meaningful progress, and the moment you learn to protect your attention, you begin to shape a life that moves with purpose instead of confusion. Focus is one of the most valuable strengths a person can build, because it determines where your energy goes and how much of your potential becomes real. Without focus, even a capable person can spend the whole day busy and still move very little. With focus, a simple effort can produce strong results because the mind is no longer divided. It is no longer running in 10 directions at once. It is aimed. It is steady. It is working with intention. Most people do not lose their potential because they are weak. They lose it because their attention is scattered. They start with good intentions and then allow interruptions to pull them away. They sit down to do important work and check one message after another. They begin the day with clarity and end it with mental fatigue. Their energy is not destroyed by the work itself, but by the constant shifting of attention. Every shift carries a cost. Every distraction takes something from your mind. That is why learning to focus is not a minor skill. It is a form of self-command. A focused mind begins with a clear decision about what matters most. If everything seems important, then nothing receives enough care. You must choose the task, the goal, or the direction that deserves your full attention right now. This does not mean ignoring all else. It means knowing what leads your day instead of allowing the day to lead you. Clear priorities create mental order. When the mind knows where to go, it becomes easier to stay there. One of the simplest ways to strengthen focus is to begin each day with one essential task. Before the world asks for your attention, decide what you will finish first. Not what you might do, not what sounds nice, what you will actually complete. Starting the day with a clear target gives your mind something solid to hold. It reduces hesitation and creates momentum. Once momentum starts, it becomes easier to continue. Distraction often grows when the mind is tired or uncertain. That is why focus is not only about effort, it is also about protecting your mental energy. A person who is always overstimulated will struggle to concentrate deeply. Constant noise, constant alerts, and constant switching train the mind to avoid stillness. To reverse this pattern, you must create space for concentration. Set periods where your attention belongs to one thing only. Give your mind fewer reasons to scatter. It helps to understand that focus is not a talent some people simply have. It is a habit of returning. Every time your mind drifts and you bring it back, you are building strength. That return matters. It teaches your subconscious that wandering is not the final answer. It teaches your mind to recover quickly. This is how concentration grows, not by never drifting, but by returning again and again with patience. Your environment has a strong influence on your ability to focus. A cluttered space can create a cluttered mind. Too many visible distractions can quietly pull your attention away even before you notice it. Keep your work area simple. Remove what you do not need. Place the most important thing in front of you and reduce everything else that competes for attention. A calm environment supports a calm mind. A clear space supports clear thinking. Another useful practice is to limit the number of open mental tasks. When you carry too many unfinished things in your head, your mind becomes restless. Write down what needs attention. Organize your priorities. Decide what can wait. Once your mind knows that a task is recorded and scheduled, it does not need to keep repeating it internally. This frees mental space and improves concentration. A strong focus also depends on the quality of your inner dialogue. The way you speak to yourself affects how long you stay engaged. If you constantly tell yourself that work is too hard, your mind will resist the effort. If you remind yourself that you only need to handle the next step, your mind stays grounded. Focus grows when your thoughts support progress rather than resist it. Inner language either strengthens discipline or weakens it. You must also learn to tolerate discomfort. Deep focus is not always comfortable. It often requires staying with a task after the excitement fades. It asks you to remain present when the work becomes repetitive or demanding. Many people break focus at this stage because they expect everything to feel easy. But meaningful work is rarely effortless. The ability to remain steady through mild discomfort is one of the signs of real maturity. Short attention spans are strengthened by constant switching. If you train yourself to move from one thing to another without completing anything, your mind learns restlessness. To rebuild focus, begin with time blocks. Give yourself a set period to concentrate on one task and stay with it until the time ends. Do not check anything else during that window. This practice trains your mind to stay engaged longer. It teaches you that not every urge deserves action. Rest is part of focus too. A tired mind cannot remain sharp for long. Many people think focus means pushing harder and harder without pause. That is not sustainable. Better focus comes from better balance. Sleep well, take breaks with purpose. Step away before your mind becomes exhausted. Return refreshed. A rested mind sees more clearly and resists distraction more effectively. If you want purposeful action, then your focus must connect to a reason that matters. People stay engaged longer when they understand why their effort is important. Ask yourself what your work is building. Ask yourself what kind of person you are becoming through this effort. Purpose gives focus a deeper foundation. It reminds you that your actions are not random. They are shaping your future. There is also value in practicing single tasking in ordinary moments. Eat without multitasking. Read without checking your phone. Listen without dividing your attention. These small choices train the mind to stay present. Presence strengthens focus in every area of life. A person who learns to give full attention to simple things often finds it easier to give full attention to important things as well. Do not wait for perfect motivation before you begin. Focus often appears after you start. The mind may resist at first and then settle as you continue. The beginning is usually the hardest part. Once you move past the first barrier, the task becomes more manageable. This is why starting matters so much. It breaks the power of hesitation. When distractions appear, do not treat them like enemies. Treat them like tests. You are being shown whether your intention is real. Each distraction asks a question. Will you follow it or will you stay with what matters? Answering that question correctly, again and again, strengthens your character. It teaches your subconscious that your commitment is serious. You will notice that a focused mind also makes better decisions. When your attention is scattered, you react quickly and think weakly. When your attention is steady, you see more clearly. You notice what matters and what does not. You act with greater confidence because your mind is not split between a dozen possibilities. Focus simplifies life by removing unnecessary noise. As your focus improves, your actions become more meaningful. You stop wasting time on the wrong things. You stop giving so much power to interruptions. You begin to move with direction. This is a quiet kind of strength. It does not need to announce itself. It shows up in consistent results. Keep in mind that focus is something you protect every day. It can be weakened by constant distraction and strengthened by deliberate practice. This means you must make choices that support it. Turn away from what fragments your attention. Give yourself better conditions for thought. Return to your priorities when your mind drifts. Stay patient with yourself as you build this skill. A focused life is not a rushed life. It is a life with direction. It is a life where effort is not wasted on too many things at once. It is a life where your mind serves your goals instead of scattering them. That kind of life grows from repeated choices made in ordinary moments. One clear decision, one steady return, one purposeful action at a time. The more you practice focus, the more your subconscious learns to obey your direction. Your mind begins to trust the path you choose. Your habits become cleaner, your actions become stronger, your results become more visible. And your confidence grows because you are no longer living by drift. You are living by design. Stay loyal to what matters. Protect your attention. Remove what steals your energy. Give your mind a reason to stay engaged. Then take the next step and the next after that. A focused mind is a powerful mind, and when that power is guided by purpose, your life starts moving in a far better direction. Chapter 6. Use repetition to install powerful thoughts into your subconscious mind. What you repeat daily does not stay small. It grows into the voice that guides your decisions and shapes the direction of your entire life. The subconscious mind does not respond to occasional effort. It responds to what is done again and again with consistency. It listens to repetition more than intention. You may want change, you may even feel ready for it, but unless your thoughts are repeated with discipline, your mind will return to what it already knows. This is why repetition is not just a technique, it is the foundation of mental conditioning. Every thought you revisit becomes easier to access. Every idea you repeat gains strength. Your mind builds familiarity through exposure. When a thought becomes familiar, it begins to feel true, even if it was once uncertain. This is how doubt becomes a belief, and this is also how confidence can be built. The process is the same. The only difference is what you choose to repeat. Most people allow repetition to happen by accident. They replay fears without realizing it. They repeat negative self-talk without questioning it. They revisit past failures more often than past progress. Over time, this creates a mental environment that limits growth. The mind becomes trained to expect less, attempt less, and achieve less. This pattern continues until awareness interrupts it. To install powerful thoughts, you must take control of what you repeat. This requires intention. It requires you to choose thoughts that support your development and bring them back into your mind regularly. not once or twice, but consistently enough that they begin to replace older patterns. Start by selecting a few strong and clear statements that reflect the mindset you want to build. These are not empty phrases. They must be grounded in action and responsibility. They should guide your behavior, not just sound good. For example, you might choose thoughts like "I follow through on what I start," "I stay calm under pressure," "I improve through effort," or "I handle challenges with focus." These statements are simple, but they are powerful when repeated with purpose. The key is not only to say these thoughts, but to connect them with your daily life. Repeat them in moments that matter. When you are about to begin a task, remind yourself of your commitment to follow through. When you face difficulty, reinforce your ability to stay steady. When you feel uncertain, return to the belief that supports action. This connection between repetition and real situations strengthens the impact. Timing also matters. There are moments when your mind is more open to suggestion. Early in the morning, your thoughts have not yet been influenced by the outside world. Late at night, your mind is quieter and more receptive. Use these moments to repeat your chosen thoughts with focus. Speak them clearly in your mind. Do not rush. Let them settle. This is not about speed. It is about depth. Emotion plays a role in this process. When you repeat a thought with feeling, it leaves a stronger impression. This does not mean forcing excitement. It means being present and engaged with what you are saying. If you repeat a thought without attention, it becomes background noise. If you repeat it with awareness, it becomes instruction. Repetition must also be supported by action. If your behavior does not match your thoughts, your mind will not fully accept them. For example, if you repeat that you are disciplined but continue to avoid effort, your subconscious will reject the message. It looks for evidence. Give it that evidence through your actions. Even small actions matter. They confirm the thought you are trying to install. There will be resistance at the beginning. Your mind may question the new thoughts. It may return to old patterns. This is normal. Repetition works through persistence. Do not expect immediate acceptance. Continue reinforcing the new thoughts, even when they feel unfamiliar. Over time, they will begin to feel natural because they are no longer new. Another important part of repetition is removing what contradicts your new direction. If you continue to repeat negative ideas, they will compete with the positive ones. This creates confusion. Your mind receives mixed signals. To avoid this, become aware of what you are saying to yourself throughout the day. When you notice a thought that weakens your progress, replace it quickly. Do not allow it to repeat unchecked. Consistency is more important than intensity. You do not to repeat your thoughts with extreme effort. You need to repeat them regularly. Short, focus moments throughout the day are more effective than one long session followed by neglect. Make repetition part of your routine. Attach it to activities you already do. For example, repeat your thoughts while walking, while preparing for work, or during quiet moments. This makes the practice easier to maintain. Writing can also strengthen repetition. When you write a thought down, you engage your mind in a different way. It requires attention. It slows down your thinking. It helps you process the message more clearly. Consider writing your key thoughts daily. This reinforces them and keeps them present in your awareness. Your environment should support your repetition. Place reminders where you can see them. Keep your thoughts visible. This reduces the chance of forgetting. It also creates frequent opportunities to reinforce your mindset. The goal is to surround yourself with signals that guide your thinking in the right direction. You must also be patient with the process. Installing new thoughts takes time. The subconscious does not change overnight. It changes through repeated exposure and consistent action. Stay committed even when progress feels slow. Trust that each repetition is adding strength to your new pattern. Over time, you will notice changes in how you think. Your responses will become more aligned with your chosen beliefs. You will act with more confidence. You will hesitate less. This is the result of your repetition becoming internalized. what you once had to remind yourself of becomes your default thinking. It is important to stay aware as your mind begins to change. Do not assume the work is complete. Continue reinforcing your thoughts. Continue aligning your actions. Growth is an ongoing process. The habits you build today need to be maintained if you want lasting results. Repetition is not limited to words. It includes what you watch, what you listen to, and what you engage with daily. Your mind absorbs information from many sources. Choose content that supports your goals. Limit exposure to what weakens your focus. This ensures that your repetition remains aligned with your direction. You are responsible for the thoughts that become dominant in your mind. This responsibility may feel heavy, but it is also empowering. It means you have control over your mental conditioning. You are not limited to the patterns you inherited. You can build new ones through consistent effort. As you continue this practice, your subconscious will begin to support your actions more effectively. It will respond to your instructions with less resistance. It will guide your behavior in a way that reflects your repeated thoughts. This alignment between thought and action creates momentum. It makes progress feel more natural. Stay disciplined with your repetition. Choose your thoughts carefully. Reinforce them with action. Protect them from contradiction. Give them time to grow. The results will not appear instantly, but they will appear consistently if you remain committed. Your mind becomes what you train it to be. Through repetition, you send clear instructions. Through consistency, you make those instructions permanent. And through patience, you allow them to shape a stronger, more focused, and more capable version of yourself. Chapter 7. Practice self-awareness to observe and correct mental patterns daily. The moment you begin to see your own mind clearly is the moment you stop being controlled by it and start directing your life with intention and strength. Most people move through their day without truly noticing what is happening inside them. They react quickly, speak without thinking deeply, and make decisions based on emotion without questioning the source of those emotions. This lack of awareness creates a life that feels unpredictable and often frustrating. The same problems appear again and again, not because life is unfair, but because the patterns inside the mind are repeating without correction. Self-awareness changes that completely. It gives you the ability to observe your thoughts, your reactions, and your habits without immediately becoming part of them. It creates distance between what you experience and how you respond. In that distance, there is control. In that control, there is the power to choose a better direction. The purpose of self-awareness is not to judge yourself harshly. It is to understand yourself accurately. Many people avoid looking inward because they fear what they might find. They worry about seeing weakness, mistakes, or habits they do not like. But avoiding the truth does not remove it. It only keeps it active in the background. When you face your patterns honestly, you give yourself the opportunity to change them. Begin by noticing your thoughts as they appear. Do not try to stop them immediately. Do not try to force them away. Simply observe them. Pay attention to what your mind says when you wake up, when you face a challenge, and when you feel pressure. These moments reveal your automatic thinking. They show you how your subconscious is currently programmed. You may notice that certain thoughts repeat often. Perhaps you tend to expect the worst outcome. Perhaps you question your ability before taking action. Perhaps you replay past situations and wish they had gone differently. These patterns are not random. They are habits that have been reinforced over time. Recognizing them is the first step toward changing them. Observation alone is not enough. You must also evaluate what you see. Ask yourself whether a thought is helpful or harmful. Does it support your progress or hold you back? Does it lead to action or create hesitation? This evaluation requires honesty. It requires you to admit when your thinking is not serving you well. Once you identify a pattern that needs correction, you must act on it. Correction does not mean suppression. It means replacing the pattern with a more useful response. For example, If you notice a habit of thinking, "I cannot handle this," you can replace it with, "I will take this one step at a time." This shift may seem small, but it changes your approach. It moves you from avoidance to action. Self-awareness also involves paying attention to your emotional responses. Emotions often appear quickly, and they can influence your behavior before you fully understand them. When you feel anger, frustration, or fear, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what caused this reaction? Was it the situation itself, or was it your interpretation of the situation? This question helps you separate reality from assumption. You will begin to notice that many emotional reactions are linked to underlying beliefs. If you believe that you must always succeed, you may feel strong frustration when something goes wrong. If you believe that others should always agree with you, you may feel anger when they do not. These beliefs shape your reactions. By becoming aware of them, you can begin to adjust them. Another important part of self-awareness is recognizing your behavioral patterns. These are the actions you repeat without much thought. It could be delaying important tasks, avoiding difficult conversations, or seeking comfort instead of growth. These behaviors often follow specific triggers. For example, you may notice that you delay work when it feels challenging, or that you avoid situations where you might be judged. Identifying these triggers gives you an advantage. Once you know what leads to a certain behavior, you can prepare for it. You can decide in advance how you will respond. This reduces the chance of falling back into the same pattern. Preparation turns awareness into action. A practical way to build self-awareness is through regular reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review your actions and thoughts. Consider what went well and what could be improved. Focus on specific moments rather than general impressions. This makes your reflection more useful. It helps you see patterns more clearly. During this reflection, be honest but not harsh. The goal is improvement, not self-criticism. If you notice a mistake, treat it as information. Ask yourself what you can learn from it. Decide how you will handle a similar situation in the future. This approach keeps you focused on growth instead of regret. Self-awareness also requires attention to your surroundings. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, and the environment you are in all influence your thinking. If you are constantly exposed to negativity, your mind will reflect that. If you are surrounded by people who lack discipline, it becomes harder to maintain your own standards. Being aware of these influences allows you to make better choices. It is important to understand that self-awareness is a skill that improves with practice. At first, it may feel difficult to notice your thoughts and reactions in real time. You may realize what happened only after the moment has passed. This is still progress. Over time, your awareness will become quicker. You will begin to notice patterns as they occur, giving you the chance to respond differently. There will be moments when you feel uncomfortable with what you discover. You may see habits or attitudes that you do not like. This discomfort is part of the process. It shows that you are becoming more honest with yourself. Instead of avoiding it, use it as motivation to improve. Growth often begins with discomfort. You must also remain patient. Changing mental patterns takes time. You are working with habits that have been repeated for years. Expecting immediate change can lead to frustration. Focus on consistent effort instead. Each time you observe and correct a pattern, you make progress. These small improvements add up over time. As your self-awareness grows, you will notice a shift in your behavior. You will pause more often before reacting. You will think more clearly before making decisions. You will become less influenced by temporary emotions. This does not mean you will stop feeling. It means you will respond with greater control. This level of awareness brings a sense of stability. You are no longer surprised by your own reactions. You understand why you think and act the way you do. This understanding allows you to make better choices. It reduces confusion and increases confidence. Self-awareness also strengthens your ability to stay aligned with your goals. When you are aware of your thoughts and actions, You can quickly see when you are moving away from your intended path. This allows you to correct your direction before too much time is lost. It keeps your progress steady. You must take responsibility for your inner world. No one else can observe your thoughts or correct your patterns for you. This responsibility may seem challenging, but it also gives you control. You are not dependent on external circumstances to improve your life. You have the ability to change from within. Commit to practicing self-awareness every day. Make it part of your routine. Observe your thoughts, evaluate your reactions, correct your patterns, reflect on your progress. Stay consistent with this process. Over time, it will become natural. A person who understands their own mind is difficult to control. They are less affected by external pressure. They are more focused on what truly matters. They act with intention rather than impulse. This is the result of daily awareness combined with disciplined correction. Continue building this skill with patience and determination. Each moment of awareness strengthens your ability to lead yourself. Each correction brings you closer to the person you want to become. Through consistent practice, you transform your patterns and create a life guided by clarity and purpose. Chapter 8. Visualize clear goals to direct subconscious behavior toward results. The moment you see your future clearly in your mind is the moment your actions begin to align with it, and your daily behavior starts moving in a focused and meaningful direction. Most people move through life with vague intentions. They say they want success, growth, or improvement, but they cannot clearly describe what that looks like. Because of this lack of clarity, their actions become scattered. They start one thing, then shift to another. They feel busy, but progress remains limited. The subconscious mind needs clear direction. Without it, it cannot organize your thoughts and actions effectively. Visualization gives your mind that direction. It is not about fantasy or unrealistic dreaming. It is about creating a clear mental picture of what you are working toward, so your subconscious can begin to support it. When your goal is clear, your mind starts to filter information differently. It notices opportunities, identifies useful actions, and reduces distractions that do not match your direction. Clarity is the foundation of effective visualization. You must define your goal in specific terms. Instead of thinking, "I want to be successful," decide what success means to you right now. It could be completing a project, improving a skill, building a routine, or reaching a certain level of performance. The more specific your goal is, the easier it becomes for your mind to focus on it. Once your goal is clear, take time to imagine it in detail. See the result as if it has already been achieved. Picture yourself completing the work. Notice the environment around you. Pay attention to how you carry yourself. This is not about escaping reality. It is about preparing your mind for a direction it can follow. When your subconscious becomes familiar with a result, it begins to guide your behavior toward it. Visualization becomes more effective when it includes action. Do not only imagine the final outcome. Imagine the steps required to get there. See yourself working with focus. See yourself handling challenges with calm effort. See yourself staying consistent even when progress feels slow. This trains your mind to accept the process, not just the reward. Your mind responds strongly to repeated images. A single moment of visualization will not create lasting change. You must return to it regularly. Each time you visualize your goal and the actions required, you strengthen the connection in your mind. Over time, this connection becomes automatic. Your behavior begins to reflect what you have been imagining. It is important to stay grounded during this process. Visualization is not a replacement for action. It is a tool that supports action. If you imagine progress but do not act, your mind will eventually lose trust in the process. The purpose of visualization is to prepare your thinking so that action becomes more natural and consistent. You should also connect your visualization to your daily routine. Begin your day by reminding yourself of your goal. Take a few moments to picture what you need to do. This sets a direction before distractions appear. During the day, return to this image when your focus starts to drift. It acts as a guide. Bringing your attention back to what matters, challenges will still appear. Visualization does not remove difficulty. It prepares you to face it with clarity. When you have already imagined yourself handling obstacles, you are less likely to be overwhelmed when they occur. Your response becomes more controlled. You focus on the next step instead of reacting with hesitation. Another important element is emotional connection. When you visualize your goal, allow yourself to feel the value of achieving it. This does not mean exaggerating excitement. It means recognizing why the goal matters to you. This connection strengthens your commitment. It gives your actions a sense of purpose. Your environment should also support your direction. Keep reminders of your goal visible. This could be a written statement, a simple note, or a visual representation. These reminders help maintain clarity throughout the day. They reduce the chance of forgetting what you are working toward. You must also remain flexible. As you make progress, your understanding of your goal may change. You may discover better methods or adjust your direction. This is part of growth. Visualization should adapt to reflect your current focus. It should remain accurate and relevant. Avoid turning visualization into distraction. Spending too much time imagining without acting can create a false sense of progress. Keep the practice balanced. Use it to guide your thinking, then return to your work. The real change happens through consistent effort. Your subconscious learns through repetition and experience. When you repeatedly visualize a clear goal and follow it with action, your mind begins to treat that direction as normal. It reduces resistance. It increases focus. It helps you stay aligned with your priorities. You will notice that your decisions become easier. When faced with a choice, you will naturally compare it to your goal. If it supports your direction, you move forward. If it does not, you step away. This clarity saves time and energy. It keeps you from drifting. There will be moments when your motivation feels low. During those times, return to your visualization. Remind yourself of what you are building. See the progress you want to achieve. This can help restore your focus and encourage you to continue. It is also useful to review your visualization regularly. At the end of the day, reflect on how well your actions matched your goal. Consider what worked and what needs adjustment. This reflection strengthens your awareness and improves your approach. You must take responsibility for maintaining this practice. No one else can create your vision for you. It must come from your own understanding of what matters. This responsibility gives you control over your direction. Over time, your mind will begin to operate differently. It will look for ways to support your goal. It will guide your attention toward useful actions. It will reduce the influence of distractions. This is the result of consistent visualization combined with disciplined effort. Your actions will become more purposeful. You will spend less time on tasks that do not matter. You will approach your work with greater focus. This leads to steady progress. Stay committed to clarity. Continue refining your vision. Keep connecting it to your daily actions. Protect your focus. Adjust when necessary. Through this process, you train your subconscious to support your goals. A clear mind creates clear results. When you know what you are working toward and reinforce it daily, your behavior begins to align with that direction. This alignment builds momentum. Momentum leads to progress, and progress sustained over time leads to meaningful achievement. Chapter 9. Commit to daily action that reinforces subconscious obedience and growth. The moment you stop negotiating with yourself and start acting every single day is the moment your mind begins to obey your direction instead of resisting it. Many people understand what they should do, yet they fail to act consistently. They plan, they think, they prepare, but when the time comes to move, hesitation appears. This hesitation weakens trust within the mind. When you repeatedly delay action, your subconscious learns that your decisions are not final. It stops taking your intentions seriously. This is why daily action is not just about progress in the outside world. It is about building authority within your own mind. Your subconscious responds to proof. It watches what you do more than what you say. If you declare a goal but fail to act on it, your mind begins to doubt your commitment. If you take action consistently, even in small ways, your mind starts to accept that your direction is real. This acceptance is what creates obedience. It reduces resistance and makes future actions easier. Daily action does not need to be extreme. It needs to be consistent. Many people believe they must make large changes to see results. This belief often leads to burnout. They push hard for a short time and then stop completely. This pattern does not train the subconscious effectively. It creates instability. A better approach is steady effort. Choose actions you can repeat every day without overwhelming yourself. The key is to remove the gap between decision and execution. When you decide to do something, act on it as soon as possible. Delaying creates space for doubt. The longer you wait, the more your mind searches for reasons to avoid the task. Immediate action reduces this resistance. It builds momentum. It strengthens your ability to follow through. You must also simplify your approach. Complicated plans often lead to inaction. If your system is too complex, your mind will resist starting. Break your tasks into clear and manageable steps. Focus on what you can do right now. This clarity makes action easier. It reduces the mental load and increases your chances of staying consistent. Your daily actions should reflect your priorities. If something is truly important, it must appear in your routine. Many people claim to value growth, but spend their time on distractions. This creates conflict within the mind. Your subconscious notices the difference between what you say and what you do. To build alignment, your actions must match your stated goals. Another important factor is discipline during low motivation. There will be days when you do not feel like taking action. Your energy may be low. Your focus may be weak. On these days, your commitment is tested. Acting despite low motivation strengthens your control. It shows your mind that your behavior is not dependent on your mood. This is where real growth happens. You must also accept that progress is not always visible immediately. Some actions will feel small. Some results will take time to appear. This can create frustration if you expect quick outcomes. Shift your focus from results to process. Each action is a step in the right direction. Each step builds momentum. Over time, these steps create noticeable change. Tracking your actions can support this process. Keep a simple record of what you complete each day. This creates accountability. It also provides evidence of your consistency. When you see your progress, you reinforce your commitment. It becomes easier to continue because you have proof that you are moving forward. Your environment should make action easier, not harder. Remove obstacles that slow you down. Prepare what you need in advance. Create a space that supports focus. These adjustments reduce friction. They allow you to start quickly and maintain your rhythm. It is also important to manage your attention. When you are working, give your full focus to the task. Avoid switching between activities unnecessarily. Each switch reduces efficiency. It weakens your ability to stay engaged. Train your mind to stay with one task until it is complete or until you reach a clear stopping point. Your self-talk during action matters as well. If you constantly complain internally, your mind will resist the process. Instead, maintain a steady and supportive tone. Remind yourself that effort is part of growth. Keep your thoughts aligned with your actions. This creates a more stable mental state. You will face obstacles. Some tasks will be more difficult than expected. Some days will not go as planned. When this happens, focus on what you can control. Adjust your approach and continue. Do not allow setbacks to stop your momentum completely. Recovery is part of the process. Another important aspect is finishing what you start. Incomplete tasks create mental clutter. They reduce confidence. When you complete tasks, even small ones, you build a sense of reliability. Your mind begins to trust your ability to follow through. This trust supports future action. You must also learn to prioritize effort over perfection. Waiting for perfect conditions often leads to delay. Take action with what you have. Improve as you go. This approach keeps you moving forward. It prevents stagnation. Your daily actions should include both short-term tasks and long-term development. Balance immediate responsibilities with activities that build your future. This ensures that you are not only maintaining your current position but also improving it. Rest is necessary, but it should be intentional. Avoid using rest as an excuse to avoid effort. Plan your breaks. Use them to recover your energy. Return to your tasks with focus. This balance supports consistency. You must remain patient with your progress. Building obedience within the subconscious takes time. Each day of consistent action strengthens this connection. Over time, resistance decreases. Your mind begins to cooperate more easily. As your consistency improves, you will notice changes in your behavior. You will start tasks more quickly. You will hesitate less. You will complete more work with less effort. This is the result of your subconscious adapting to your routine. Your identity also begins to shift. You see yourself as someone who takes action. This belief reinforces your behavior. It creates a cycle where action and identity support each other. Stay committed to your process. Do not rely on temporary motivation. Build your routine around discipline. Protect your time. Focus on what matters. Continue taking action even when it feels slow. A life of growth is built through daily effort. Each action you take sends a signal to your mind. It tells your subconscious what to expect. It shapes your behavior. It defines your results. Make your actions consistent. Keep them aligned with your goals. Strengthen your discipline through repetition. Over time, your mind will begin to follow your lead without resistance. When your subconscious starts to obey your direction, your progress becomes more natural. Your effort becomes more effective. And your life begins to reflect the discipline you have built through daily action. Chapter 10. Eliminate limiting beliefs to unlock consistent personal progress and confidence. The moment you decide to question every belief that has been holding you back is the moment your life begins to open in ways you never thought possible. Many people live within invisible limits that they never chose consciously. These limits come from repeated thoughts, past experiences, and opinions absorbed over time. They feel real because they have been accepted without challenge. They shape decisions, reduce effort, and quietly control direction. A person may want progress, yet still remain stuck because deep inside there is a belief that says it is not possible or not deserved. Limiting beliefs are not always obvious. They often appear in simple thoughts like "this is not for me," "I am not ready," "I do not have what it takes," or "things never work out for me." These statements may seem harmless, but when repeated often enough, they become instructions to the subconscious. The mind begins to act in ways that match these beliefs. It avoids opportunities, delays action, and reduces effort. This creates a cycle where the belief appears to be confirmed by the results it produces. To break this cycle, you must first recognize the beliefs that are guiding your behavior. Pay attention to your thoughts when you face something challenging. Notice what your mind says before you even begin. That first reaction often reveals the belief underneath. It might tell you to stop, to wait, or to expect failure. This is where your work begins. Once a limiting belief is identified, you must examine it carefully. Ask yourself where it came from. Was it formed through a single experience? Was it influenced by someone else's opinion? Was it repeated so often that it became familiar? Understanding the origin of a belief helps you see that it is not a fixed truth. It is something that was learned and can therefore be changed. Next, test the belief with logic and evidence. If you believe you are not capable, look at your past actions. There will be moments where you handled difficulty, learned something new, or improved through effort. These moments may have been small, but they prove that growth is possible. A limiting belief often ignores these examples. Bringing them into your awareness weakens the belief. Replacing a limiting belief requires creating a stronger alternative. This new belief must be grounded in reality and support action. For example, Instead of saying I cannot succeed, you can say I can improve with consistent effort. Instead of thinking I am not ready, you can say I will prepare and begin. These statements shift your focus from limitation to possibility. They do not promise instant results, but they open the path for progress. Consistency is essential in this process. A belief that has been repeated for years will not disappear quickly. You must reinforce the new belief regularly. Each time the old thought appears, respond with the new one. This repetition trains your subconscious to accept a different perspective. Over time, the new belief becomes more natural. Action must support your new belief. If you claim that you can improve, you must take steps to do so. This could involve learning, practicing, or taking on challenges that push your limits. Each action provides evidence that your new belief is valid. Without action, the belief remains weak. With action, it becomes stronger. Fear often appears when you begin to challenge limiting beliefs. This fear is a response to change. The mind is used to familiar patterns, even if they are unhelpful. Stepping outside those patterns creates discomfort. Instead of avoiding this feeling, accept it as part of growth. Continue acting despite the discomfort. This is how new beliefs take hold. Your environment can either support or weaken your progress. If you are surrounded by negativity or doubt, it becomes harder to maintain strong beliefs. Choose influences that encourage growth. This includes the people you interact with, the content you consume, and the conversations you engage in. A supportive environment reinforces your new direction. Self-talk plays a major role in shaping beliefs. The way you speak to yourself influences how you feel and act. Replace harsh or limiting language with statements that encourage effort and resilience. When you face a setback, focus on what you can learn instead of criticizing yourself. This keeps your mind focused on progress. You must also learn to separate identity from temporary results. A single failure does not define your ability. A delay does not mean you cannot succeed. Limiting beliefs often grow from attaching identity to outcomes. Instead, view results as feedback. Use them to adjust your approach and continue moving forward. Patience is necessary. Changing beliefs is a gradual process. There will be moments when old thoughts return. Do not treat this as failure. It is a sign that the previous pattern is still present. Continue reinforcing your new belief. Each repetition reduces the strength of the old one. Confidence grows from evidence. As you continue to act in line with your new beliefs, you begin to trust yourself more. You see that you can handle challenges. You notice improvement. This builds confidence naturally. It is not something you force. It is something you develop through consistent effort. Your progress will become more stable. As limiting beliefs lose their influence, you will make decisions more easily. You will take action more quickly. You will recover from setbacks with greater speed. This stability allows you to maintain growth over time. It is important to review your beliefs regularly. As you grow, new challenges will appear. These challenges may reveal additional limits that need to be addressed. Stay aware of your thinking. Continue refining your beliefs. This keeps your progress aligned with your goals. Take full responsibility for your inner world. No one else can change your beliefs for you. This responsibility gives you control. It allows you to shape your thinking in a way that supports your development. Accepting this responsibility is a step toward independence and strength. Your subconscious will begin to reflect the beliefs you reinforce consistently. When those beliefs support growth, your actions follow naturally. You no longer need to force every decision. Your mind becomes aligned with your goals. This alignment makes progress more consistent. Commit to removing every belief that limits your potential. Replace it with one that supports effort, learning, and resilience. Reinforce it through repetition and action. Protect it from negative influence. Give it time to grow. A strong belief system creates a strong life. When your mind supports your progress, your actions become more effective. Your confidence becomes stable. Your growth becomes continuous. Stand firm in your decision to improve. Challenge what holds you back. Build beliefs that move you forward. Through this process, you unlock the ability to grow consistently and create results that reflect your true potential.